we respectfully disagree. At any rate, in representing this, it was, he was very aggressive, and why don't you do this? Do this, do this, do this. Guarantee.
I'm sorry, what?
He was not on EDA's side on anything
Yeah.
in that meeting. He was not gonna
Absolutely
support
not.
us on.
Who was that?
Terry.
The attorney was on both sides, so it was very difficult on that meeting, but.
So his recommendation that we could find a way to do this guarantee, all, you know, we just sit here for an hour with Tom Byrne. We've said, you know, the last subcommittee meeting was 4 hours. We've had countless 4-hour subcommittee meetings. We're trying, speaking selfishly, we're trying to minimize the debt collection workload, bad debt, dumb decisions that we've made in the past, that we have to sit here a year from now and say, well, this didn't work. We're trying to avoid that, that's all. This does not look like a good decision to the subcommittee. And that's Janelle, that's Scott, and that's me.
No matter what the project or what the request, I think we need, I'll speak for myself, we need to respect that subcommittee process because of what they see. I've been on it, everybody's willing and able to be on it, take their turns, and we've got a recommendation from them, and it seems like it just gets into trying to drag all this stuff out in this meeting, and it's very difficult to see what that subcommittee sees, and that's the whole part of the process, to see that the details come to the EDA, we recommend and go, and the subcommittee has a recommendation. No matter what it is, I think that should be acted on rather than, I mean, yeah, some questions can be asked, but it's tough to work through that here.
I would say that was probably one of the toughest subcommittee meetings we had been in.
Yeah, because we're not all the way through that subcommittee yet. Tom was there, Bakers were there, Jay was there.
I agree with what you say, Brad, but, you know, at the same time, the EDA is responsible to make the decision.
You bet. Overturn the subcommittee.
And we need, but that's my point, we need to act on the request, and maybe there's.
Right, I just wanna make sure that, my point is that regardless of how many hours are put in, it's not a rubber stamp.
Right.
It's not a rubber stamp.
And I think we all acknowledge that.
It's the best analytical conclusion you can come to.
Right, because we can't share all that information.
Right. And take us at face value for what it's worth. The hours is just me expressing my frustration. I'm getting tired of bill collecting and bad loans. You know, when we met with the bank, one that we don't have to discuss tonight, I mean, when it finally got down to the nitty-gritty, the president of the bank admitted that this is a bad loan. This is a bad loan, and they would loan the money. You know, why, there's nothing in the but-for and nothing in common sense of EDAs. You know, this is not real estate, this is not a startup loan, you know, this is not signage, this is your credit cards. You know, I do think, Chris, it would be very difficult. A little trickle of water would come through that floodgate pretty soon. You'd have people saying, I heard, because this would have to go to the council. The whole guarantee thing, again, I think we need to have that discussion so we can give guidance to Sam and Steve so they don't put time into something we're going to keep shooting down, but we've had boom, 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 boom. You know, G-Force was going to, they wanted to borrow, consolidate their loans, pay us back, and then have us sequester that money and pledge a guarantee so that they could get that loan. That to me is a kind of a, you know, that's a dangerous, Scott, I will put words in his mouth because he said it, he called it the slippery slope. You start meeting the milestones for the borrower. You start further enabling struggling businesses. Businesses ultimately will fail or change hands or succeed. We can't, as an EDA, save everybody. So anyway, enough of me.
Oh, we can't try.
We are trying. What have we done? I mean, what? You know, this is Amy leaving the room. And the last thing she says, I gotta sell the Lexus. Good. That sounds like a good first way to start to get out of this. Reduce your payments, start having money put to paying off the principal on these credit cards. You know, it's not quite the same thing, but certainly when we built our house, or when we remodeled our house, we basically financed the whole thing on credit cards. You know, Menards, he owns both my children and 3 of my grandchildren now. You pay those things off. You don't let them build up to huge balances that you make payments and you pay them off.
Right. You know, and new business like that, you know, sure they had an expensive startup, and now they're really getting into, you know, they've been in a little over a year now, and, you know, they're all in, you know, they're not going anywhere if they can help it. And it's kinda what I always thought the EDA was for.
It's just that
Help new businesses,
we've just
they're
got
young,
this,
you know.
we've just got this huge balance that we've got here that every single county in the state would just kill for. And I just find it hard to believe that we can't stick that 18,000 to the side and say,
We could.
let's reduce that interest.
Yeah, well, we're not loaning it.
I know.
The
Right.
bank is loaning it, so it gets into that,
But we've got
that whole
to,
relationship with the bank. Are we allowing the bank to make bad loans they wouldn't make? If she wants his money, put your house up. You know, it's only 18,000. If I heard that a bunch the other night. It's only 18,000. Anyway,
but you saw what it did to the cash flow by approving it.
they're cash flowing anyway. It makes it easier, sure. Everybody, let's make life easier. Business is not easy, you know. Business, there's up times, down times, bad decisions, right decisions. There are startups, 60% of all startups fail.
I understand too we don't want them to come back here 5 years from now asking for their 5th
Forbearance.
forbearance.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah, we're nobody's as
and it's a young, you know, it's a young business. You know, is there some way that, what terminology I'm looking for, somebody that we would say, they're gonna go into your business and see how you're doing everything, and they can tell you, well, you're doing something wrong in order to meet your, you know,
Sure,
they
we
have a pretty
recommended
good
that,
chunk that they're
yeah.
gonna have to start paying.
I mean, credit
And,
counseling and
you know,
also for
Cause they're
business
deferred till
assistance.
when are they supposed to start making their payments?
10 months.
okay, deferred for a year.
Well, I would imagine they need to somehow pay off that 18 grand in the next 10 months in order to make their payments, otherwise you're gonna come here for a forbearance.
No, before, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're,
Well, they've got milestones listed in the exit plan, in that. and that's-
Increased customer.
I was more
uh,
curious too, and we've